everyone, Tina Gale here with My Scrappy Ideas, and today I am working on a challenge for the My Scraps and More. We have a challenge each day on the forums, and I'd love to have you come on over. So today is Friday's Free For All, and I started with Coco Vanilla's Life is Beautiful line, and so far, everything that Coco Vanilla has come out with, I have fallen completely in love with, and this is no exception. And so I couldn't wait to cut into this and create some layouts. So I actually have a couple of layouts that I'll be putting up on my YouTube channel using all of the products from this particular line, the Life is Beautiful. So today's challenge that I'm giving you is to include 3 things on your layout. And the first one is a doily. The second one is a banner of some sort, and the third thing is something sweet. So you could interpret that several different ways, and you'll see here on my layout that I have it as a title, and it's also in my photos. So that one's going to be open for interpretation for you. And so the first thing that I did was I just went to my stash and found a piece of cardstock that was kind of in a blue-gray. I struggled a little bit with my background piece because I wanted to cut this pattern paper that had the triangles on it. I wanted to cut it down a little bit and mount it on something darker. And originally I'd thought about the dark blue that's in there, that it would really pop the photos and everything. But it was really kind of too dark, and it was drawing your eye really to that and not necessarily the layout. I chose some lighter colors and the light blue that I use in the collection, but I ended up in the end choosing this one that's a blue-gray. So it's actually not even a color into the papers really, it's kind of a mix of 2 different ones, but it does match the enamel dots that are included in this collection pretty well. And so in the end I was really happy with that. So I just mounted that bigger piece of paper onto the back. I had these doilies in my stash from they've been there for years, since probably before I ever started officially scrapbooking. And I'm going to use it for the very back. And I just inked it a little bit with my Tim Holtz Distress ink because I didn't want it to fade completely into the background. I wanted to see a little bit of it. And then you also saw me do some splatters, and that is with Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and it's the color T. So it's a dark brown, and I really like using it. So I just did some splatters kind of in the 3 different corners of the layout. And then I cut 2 little strips to ground my photos. I chose the blue. Again, I wanted that heavier, darker blue underneath my photos to really ground them and to cause those photos to kind of pop up off of that doily and the rest of the background. So I just kind of notched the ends of those. And then I chose the pink paper that had the little bitty butterflies just because I wanted that fun little print underneath there, and it was a good contrast against the blue paper. And then next I've pulled out all of the embellishments that I have. So I have the ephemera pack, I have badges, the enamel dots, wood veneer, and I just started by pulling out everything that I thought would go with this particular layout. And now I'm just kind of pulling them around, seeing what I could do. And they're all pretty much going to stay where I start out with. I'm going to move that heart off to the edge, but everything else pretty much stays. And I'm just trying to build up the 3 clusters around my photos. And so the main thing that I started with the flowers, I really wanted to use flowers on this since it was photos of my daughter and I, and just pull out a really feminine look to the layout. And I started with the 3 blue ones. And so you can tell I have a large blue, a medium blue, and a small blue used in the clusters. And then I add the other colors in, as well as the little leaves for the pops of colors. And then the other thing that I wanted to add was wood veneer. And so I wanted to make sure that I had some type of wood veneer in all 3 of those places. And so I chose the flowers for the 2 that's towards the right, and then I had this butterfly one, and I really wanted to use it, and it didn't look that good on top of the flowers and stuff, but you have these large butterflies in the ephemera pack, and so I ended up gluing that wood butterfly onto the top of the die cut, and it really helped. It kind of blended the ephemera pack and the wood veneers together and the colors, and so I was really happy with it that way. And I'm going to pop dot this title up. So again, I had this dark blue title. I really wanted it to pop. And I contemplated adding the dark blue into the other two clusters, but I decided against it. I felt like it was going to really take over the layout to where the things that you were going to notice were the 3 embellishment clusters, because they are pretty large and there's quite a bit to them, and take away from the photos. So instead what I did was build up this little piece up into the top left corner. And so there was this little kind of tag, banner, I don't even know what you'd call it. But it had the dark blue outline, and so I decided to use it to ground that little embellishment up to the top. And so I put it down, and then I had the branding strip with that light blue, and I just notched those ends onto the top of it, and then adhered the wood veneer to the heart. And so that's, or the wood veneer heart to the banner. I hope I said that right. It's been a while since I've been doing process videos. I took a really long break, and so it's tough getting back into the swing of everything. So that's pretty much gonna do all of the embellishments and stuff. I'm gonna do the enamel dots. I just scattered those around, added a couple to the flowers, or added one to kind of each flower embellishment. And then I loved the badges, so I decided to add one to the bottom of that, and it says "Life is Good." And I just pop dotted that wood veneer flower up kind of over it, so that it's real dimensional down there. And then I decided I wanted a little bit more of the misting over the top of the embellishment clusters. And so I just covered up my photos and kind of splattered again over the embellishments, so that there would be a little bit of that on top of the embellishments and not just underneath them. And then I decided I really, really liked it. I could have quit right here. And I was getting ready to do my date stamp and my journaling and all that. And then I thought, And I decided to pull out my watercolors and to paint on some of the wood veneers. Actually, I paint on all of them. And so I just pulled those out with a little bit of water, and I'm just going to mix some of the colors on kind of all of them. But I wanted a little bit more yellow into the clusters, especially to the right on the top and the bottom. It was a little bit dull, and so I start with mixing my own yellow and doing it kind of a yellow-orange. And I did the center of the top one, and then I just kind of went over the lines that were in the wood veneer flower at the bottom. And then I added some to this butterfly, and I'm keeping it to the center. And I tried to keep a really kind of a darker color kind of to the center, and then put water over the top of it and kind of fade it out, where, you know, it wasn't like color book in on the wood veneers, but just kind of a dark and then a fade where you have different colors and different tones of the color. And then I went and added a little bit of blue to the butterfly on the outside of the wings, and I decided to do this banner down here. And it ends up, it doesn't look really good right here when I'm looking at it, but it looks good once I finished it. But I just added yellow to 2 of them, and then blue stripes on another one, and then I added pink into the center. And so it just added just enough color to make that banner really, really fun. So I ended up really liking how all of this turned out, and I'm going to have to remember to do more of this with wood veneers. But I just keep working and playing until I get it the way that I want to look. And that's pretty much all I did to this layout. These photos are photos of my daughter and I when we were at Disney, and one of our favorite places to eat is in the French bakery, which is La Pâtissière. And everything that they make is just awesome. And so this day we started there, and so this was kind of our breakfast. You know, life is short. So I love the creme brulee in there, and then she had a lemon tart. So I decided just to document that, because that's definitely one of our traditions that we have when we're at Disney is to eat in this particular restaurant. And I seriously could eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. And I know I've done other layouts with the food that we've eaten there, and I say it probably in every video, but I really, really could. It's just awesome. So that's going to pretty much wrap this layout up. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to hop on over to My Scraps and More on the forum to join us in the challenge for the Friday free-for-all. And I should also say that I started working off of a sketch from Scrap Much from one of their October challenges as well. And so this layout was heavily inspired by them. So I hope you enjoy the close-ups here, and we will see you real soon with another layout. Have a great day. Bye.